Welcome back to Aging is for Everyone. We're talking about food today, and it seems like more and more I hear of people who have food sensitivities. Here to tell us a little bit more about food sensitivities is Dr. Jennifer Williamson from New Life Medicine, and she is a doctor of naturopathic medicine. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here.
It's great to be here.
Some of our viewers probably are wondering, what is a doctor of naturopathic medicine? Let's tell them what it is.
A doctor of naturopathic medicine is one who is trained as a primary care physician, specializing in integrative and holistic modalities, things like homeopathy, nutrition, herbs, supplements, things like that. In New York State, we don't have a license, so all that I can do here is make recommendations to people. I cannot act as a primary care physician.
Okay, all right, but you've had a lot of training, I know.
I've been trained to be basically the same as your general practicing doc has. I can understand the labs that your doc writes for you. I can understand the medications that you were prescribed. I can understand the interactions between herbs and medications, because there are many, and we're the only fully trained physician career that is trained in both.
Great. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Food sensitivities, as I said, it seems to be popping up. More and more people are telling me them. How, first of all, what would be considered a food sensitivity, and how are they different than allergies?
So there's 4 different types of allergies that can happen from food. The first is the one that most allergists will they'll do the skin prick test, they'll do the allergy shots. That's a type 1 hypersensitivity. Anaphylaxis is the response to the food. So somebody eats a strawberry, their lips swell, their throat closes, they have difficulty breathing. It's a major emergency. What we're talking about, however, is a type 3 sensitivity. And what happens is the food itself, some protein or starch or some other component of the food, combines with various chemicals within the body to basically make this complex. And wherever that complex gets stuck can create an irritation to the immune system. So many different symptoms can come into play: hypertension, headaches, and just immune dysfunction, but many different symptoms can often be attributed to these. And we're guessing, because it's not very well tested, that 60 to 95% of the population has these types of sensitivities.
Wow, that's and don't know it. Probably are wondering,
right.
What's wrong with me?
Yes.
So do people just suddenly develop who would develop a food sensitivity?
Anybody can. Anybody can. At any age. Typically what we see is that there has been some stressor, whether it's a physical stressor, emotional stressor, but a stressor in the body that brings it on, because what stress does is it elevates cortisol. The elevation of cortisol weakens the mucosal border of the gastrointestinal system, which allows these components into the body. And when the immune system sees them in the blood, your body reacts by saying, let's get it out. It's not supposed to be here. Okay,
so just to give an example, what are some common food sensitivities that you see?
The top 8 most common food sensitivities are wheat, dairy, soy, corn, egg, citrus, peanuts, and nightshade vegetables. And nightshades are potato, tomato, eggplant, and peppers. Okay,
so those are pretty common things that people eat.
Yes, very common.
Okay, so what actually causes it? Do we know what causes the food sensitivity? Is it just...
There has been some weakness in the gastrointestinal tract, so it could be that somebody had been taking antibiotics. The stressor itself could just weaken the border. Inflammation, lots of sugar, just eating a poor diet, all of those can irritate the gastrointestinal tract, weakening it and allowing larger molecules to slip past the gastrointestinal tract's lymphoid tissue, which is the guardian to the body.
Okay. Well, if somebody comes to you and they're, having some symptoms and you suspect it's a food sensitivity, how do you find out what it is?
There's many different ways how we could do it. We can do an elimination and reintroduction diet, where we eliminate all the possible antigens and then reintroduce them one by one to see which causes the symptom to reappear.
Okay.
There are blood tests that are possible. They're a little bit hard to find, but they are able. We can find them in the area. But there's also great other diets. Dr. Peter Diadamo, who was a naturopath, came up with the blood type diet, and that one often removes most of the antigens and can be very helpful. There's also muscle testing, applied kinesiology, and a technique called NAET, which can eliminate food sensitivities just energetically.
Okay, so is most of how you correct them by eliminating what it is that you're sensitive to?
That is one part of it, and it's important to acknowledge that just eliminating the food oftentimes isn't enough for most people.
Okay.
That people will eliminate food and will avoid that food for the rest of their lives when they don't have to. If we can add in a few things that really help to rebuild the gastrointestinal tract, to rebuild the immune system, to rebuild the adrenal glands so that it's not constantly reacting with excess cortisol, if we can do all those things, then the body will recover and you won't be allergic to them anymore.
Okay, so if somebody is watching this and they're concerned maybe that they do have a food sensitivity, what would you suggest if they contacted you? How would you work with them?
Well, my initial visit, basically I sit down and I ask them every question you can imagine over a 2-hour period so that I can figure out what was the root cause. You know, was it a physical stress and emotional stress? Because if we just take the food away but the stressor remains, we're just not really getting anywhere. So really trying to figure out the whole person and everything that they're dealing with so that we can get to the obstacle, the cure, and remove that so that the body can begin to heal itself.
So really you have to kind of dig into what their history is
Everything.
And find out.
Yeah, lots of questions over 2 hours.
Oh, wow. Now, if somebody can't, we had put your information up on the screen. If somebody can't come in to like maybe see you in person, they talk to you on the phone, or can they?
Yes, absolutely. I do phone consultations as well. They just need to call me and schedule a time just so that I make sure that I have time free, you know, a 2-hour block to speak with them. You may catch me, you know, driving or you know, with the headset, of course.
Of course.
But you may catch me in a random place and I don't necessarily have 2 hours to sit down and talk to you. But yes, I can schedule phone consultations.
So if someone is concerned about food sensitivity, we know that a doctor of naturopathic medicine can maybe help us.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's great that you kind of take everything and put it together, because it's so hard to find that.
Yes, yes it is.
Yes, well thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And we will be right back with more Aging is for Everyone.